In the 1760s, Americans named many towns after heroes who had supported their cause only in parliamentary debate. Pittsburgh, Conway, Barry, Wilkes-Barre. When they became independent, they looked to their own past for heroes and found a collection of them in the Pilgrim Fathers, remembered for their religious faith and popularly depicted on a solemn walk to church. They celebrated William Penn as a peacemaker, and they began to discover their affinity for nameless heroes among themselves who went their own way against the grain, regardless of custom, convenience, or habits of deference to authority. Many were to be found among the people just then pulling up stakes to strike out over the mountains to Kentucky and Tennessee and Ohio. They were the Americans who sassed their betters and got into trouble. The people for whom the Bill of Rights was written. People not generally recognized as heroes, but heroes nevertheless. There was Samuel Maverick, appropriately named, who settled himself in happy solitude on Massachusetts Bay 6 years before the Puritans got there. When they arrived, he fled from their prayers to an island of his own. There were the two Boston Carters, my personal favorites, who stood down the royal governor of Massachusetts on a wintry day in 1705. They were carrying a heavy load of wood on a narrow road, drifted with snow, when they encountered the governor coming from the opposite direction. Since they did not turn off the road to let the governor's coach pass, he leapt out and bade them give way. One of them then, according to the governor's own testimony, answered boldly without any other words, "I am as good flesh and blood as you. I will not give way. You may go out of the way." When the governor then drew his sword and advanced to teach the man a lesson, the carter laid hold on the governor and broke the sword in his hand, a supreme gesture of contempt for authority and its might. Historians have been studying such heroes and the people around them for 2 centuries, but I think they can still surprise us. The people I have selected here, whether public heroes or simply my own favorites, have all surprised me in one way or another. Something about them has sent me looking at the records they left behind, often looking for a second time, having second thoughts. Many of these pieces are the result of second thoughts about what I had said earlier in biographies or biographical sketches. An example. The Puritans of New England were so sure of their historic significance that they preserved with loving care the voluminous records of everything they did. After a number of years immersed in those records, I came up for air with a biography of a man who figures largely in them, Governor John Winthrop of Massachusetts. One important document was the transcript of a speech he delivered to his shipmates on the voyage to found the colony in 1630. In it he told them that they would be as a city upon a hill. The phrase has resounded through subsequent American history, appropriated by patriots and politicians for the whole United States, has a special place in the eyes of God and of the entire world. Winthrop himself dwelt at length on the special commission God had given the settlers of Massachusetts, a commission that obliged them to be knit together in the work as one man. In The Puritan Dilemma, the story of John Winthrop, I focused on the speech in explicating the Puritans' view of their mission in the New World. I think I was right to do so. The Puritans certainly thought that they were up to something special. But many years after writing that biography, in reading accounts of earlier English voyages to the New World, I came across things that made me question whether Winthrop's speech was as special as I had supposed. I have explained why in the brief essay called John Winthrop's Vision. Another example. After studying the extant writings of Benjamin Franklin, I had to write a biography of him too. When you spend years with your head buried in a man's papers, you get a strong urge to tell others about him, especially when you have found him doing and thinking things that